I have a big problem with groundhogs in my yard. They are always eating. What can I do to get rid of them? And this is Essie. So, Essie has groundhogs, Peter. You know anything about groundhogs?
Yes, I do. I grew up in the middle of a field in Maine, and we had lots of groundhogs.
I'm so glad you know about groundhogs. I feel like most of my questions are armadillo related, so let's go groundhogs.
Yes. So we had a garden, and what we did is we put an electric fence around the garden with 2 wires. One was about 4 inches above the ground, the other was a couple inches above that. It's probably 6 or 8 inches above the ground.
Okay.
That was good for groundhogs, skunks, raccoons, because they come along and they touch their nose to the wire and they learn real quick they don't want to go there.
Also rabbits, I'm sure.
Yeah. And so what we would do though is, because you have your wires only a few inches off the ground, you have the problem of, if grass grows for about a week, it can touch the wire. And so what we would do is every couple of days we had this thin piece of bamboo. It was a plant stake.
Okay.
And I just go along and just whack the grass under the wire. And if you go along at dusk or at night and you tap the wire, you can see the sparks when it touches the grass. So you know where you're shorting out and you can kind of whack that grass back. But that's probably the best way to do it if you're trying to get out of a certain area. Now, you can't exactly put an electric fence around your front flower bed. It doesn't work.
The general area.
Right. So there's a couple other things that you can do. I want to mention there, you can install a wire fence, but this is going to be a lot of digging. So you put in a wire fence. It needs to be, the holes need to be about 2 inches by 4 inches so they can't get through. Sure. But you bury the fence a foot under the ground. And not only do you just bury the fence a foot under the ground, the bottom foot of the fence, you put horizontal facing out for a foot. So you're digging a trench a foot wide and a foot deep to put your fence in. So that's that's a lot of work.
And then laying it in an L shape and then putting the dirt back in.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Now you can use traps.
Yeah.
So you can use the live traps. You put them right at the entrance to their burrow and bait the inside with lettuce, carrots, fruit, vegetables, things like that. You can put down, if you wanted to, you could put down some sticks and some leaves so they can't see where the trap starts. Okay. Go in there, you can catch them. Problem with that is that many places you can't transport them once you have caught them. Yeah. So then what do you do with them?
Yeah.
So
you've got this live animal and then
there are carbon monoxide generators that look like little firecrackers, or big firecrackers. What you do is the groundhog hole burrow has 2 entrances to it. So you find the 2 entrances, cover them up. Or cover one of them, take the other one, light your carbon monoxide generator. As it burns, it generates carbon monoxide. Place it in there, cover it up. It will then suffocate. It'll suffocate. And then watch and see if there's any other places where smoke comes out. Because you got to cover them up. But that'll work. Follow instructions. You don't want to use them close to buildings. Or any places where humans are going to be, because carbon monoxide is just as poisonous to us as it is to groundhogs.
This is true.
And then those are kind of expensive. So really the cheapest and kind of easiest way, I'm sorry to say, is to shoot it.
Yeah.
Assuming that you live in a place where you can do that. Yeah. So a 22.
Yeah.
And just shoot them.
And it's probably most effective to use.
That's what we did a lot.
Rifle.
We shot them.
Yeah. Well, how about that? So groundhogs, they're in the squirrel family. They're good climbers and they're pretty good size.
Yes, they're so big.
That's for sure. And they're herbivores, which is why you would pre-bait the trap, of course, with vegetables and things like that.
And I forgot to say, to make the wire fence even more difficult, you should put an electric fence wire across the top because they can't climb.
Hope you enjoyed the video. We would love to get more questions from you. So be sure to leave us some comments.